Hello, this is Blaster Toad here, and today, as per requested by Crowy the Crow over on the ToadNet Discord, we're going to be taking a look at doors, but more specifically, making doors that work in a multiplayer game. This should be fairly short and fairly straightforward. It's just wrapping your head around how the multiplayer works. So I've got my test character here. Using the character blueprint and add movement in that. It is already set up networking capable because that's how the character blueprint works in Unreal Engine. It's just already pre-set up, which is quite nice. And we're going to start making some doors from scratch. So I've got nothing in my doors folder here. I do, however, have a mesh, an animated door. Oh, I'm just going to get rid of that animation blueprint, because we're going to be making that here in a moment too. Okay. The doors. First things first, we want a class. We want an actor, class, underscore door. This could be your interactable, or this could be done instead of a class through an interface. But however you're communicating to your door, we want to tell the door its current state. And we just want a open/close variable here. File save. We are going to want a couple events. So we're going to want on our door a custom event for activate door. Oh, not with a slash on it. That's just going to be regular. Our door will not have any replicated events because everything we do on the door will happen on the server. And we're going to do that through our player. That's how the doors will work. So activate door. When we get activate door, we want to get our open or close. Get whatever it is not. And then set open or close. Okay, how we're gonna get this back to the client is by replicating this variable. Go over to the side here, we want replication for a variable, rep notify. Then we want another custom event, update door. And then over here we have this on rep notify open close. We just want that to update door. Just like that. File and save. Okay. We're also going to add component, a collision, because I'm not setting up a proper interaction system here. We're just doing something really easy to get the premise across. We're going to go back to our event graph, select our box, and we're going to have an event on begin overlap, and we want an event on end overlap. Both of these are going to cast to our character test player networking. That's there. Okay, compile and save, and now we need to go open up our player. On the player, we're just going to add a variable, door, and this could be an actor class, then firing back to a interface. In our case, it is going to be a class door reference. Okay, I then want to put a command on here. So I want E keyboard. If you're doing this properly, you'd put it up in your project setting and add a key binding under input. I am leaving this separate, so if you move this into another project, hey, it's set up as a demo. And that's why I'm hard coding it here. And then I want to get my door. Then I want a custom event. And I want to call this activate or run door on server. And then on our player where we're doing this is going to be our run on server event. And we want to put in there a reference to the door. And then when we hit E, we want run door on server. And you probably want an is valid there. We're making sure before we send anything to the server so that we aren't spamming it, that what we have is currently valid. And then when we get on the server, we're going to check that it is valid on the server as well. Make sure it exists over here. And then on our door, we want to run activate door. Compile and save. That should be everything for our player. We go back to our class door, activate door, changes things. Because this is rep notify, when it gets changed, it will run this event, which will run our custom event. And then why we're having this redirect to a custom event is because we're going to set this up in the child blueprint. Now on our overlap box, when a character begins overlapping with our door, we want to set door. We want to do a reference to self. And then we're going to copy that, paste it, and set door to nothing when they leave. File and save. Cool. Now we're going to right click on our door, and I'm going to create a child blueprint class and call this door underscore timeline. This door is going to be run off a timeline. And I'm going to start making a door. Add a cube. I'm going to make that cube roughly door shaped. And then make a door frame for it, just so that it's more distinct. Something like that. I am going to add an arrow. Arrow is going to be my hinge, so I'm gonna bring these up in the world. So control clicking to grab them all. Bring them up. Bottom is at 0-ish. Sure, good enough. Moving our arrow to where we want the hinge to be. And then setting up our box so that it is a better interact box for our door. Something like that. So if the player's within there, we'll be able to interact with the door. Cool. Now I'm going to go to the event graph. I'm going to go to functions, hit override. I'm going to override update doors. When the door gets updated, we're going to do something. We're going to get open, close. Because we have that variable, because this is a child of class door. And then I'm going to do a branch. And then I want a new timeline. Add timeline. There we go. And when I open, so when open is true, I want to play from the start of this timeline. When open is false, I want to reverse from the end of this timeline. When it gets updated, I want to take my door piece and make it a child of my arrow. And that over there. Arrow, we're going to pull out here and set relative rotation. Plug that into the update. Split that out, and we're going to make a float timeline to drive our yaws, opening and closing. Go into new float track. I want to make this about 1 second long. Sounds about right. At point 0, time 0, I want my rotation to be 0. At time 1, I want my rotation to be 100. And if I hit this zoom to fit, grab both of these, right click and set auto. It gets this nice curve instead of just following a linear thing. New song. Okay. And then we can plug track 0 right into our yaw. And that should be a replicatable door. Wait, set a door out here. And we go to play with 3 players. Cool. So we've got our server right here. Server's going to move around, and the server goes to open the door. It opens on the server, but it doesn't open for the clients. Look at that. If you look on the client screen, just below the server one where I'm playing, you can see the server character teleporting through the door because the door is still closed. Okay. This is a very easy mistake to make, and I'm pretty sure I know exactly what I did. Well, in this case, didn't do. So on our class door, go class defaults, and we need to say replicates right there. Just check that box so that it is actually considered by the server. File and save. And now we take our server character over here. We go and we open the door. It opens for everybody. And then if we go over to a client, we're gonna come over here. Hello, guy. I'm just gonna walk to the side so that all 3 can see the door happening. Activate, and it opens and closes on all of them, even when a client activates it. Just for good measure, we're going to do it on the last client as well. Make sure that this client gets door activating. And there we go. So however you want your door to happen, or if you wanted to have this dependent, it'd be very easy to have a lock state here. So that we only change this to opened if it is locked, or if it is not locked. And you could do the exact same thing as just have like an unlock door function and setting a replicated variable. For bonus points, we're also going to do this on an animated door. So if you're using an asset pack, or if you've made yourself a door mesh like I have, that is a skeletal mesh with, if I go over to the skeleton, come on, let me select things. with a bone that would animate the door. And you have a couple animations like that. Then, in that case, we're going to run our door off of an animation blueprint. So we're going to right-click my skeleton, create anim blueprint. I'm going to call this anim bp underscore door. Come in here, we are going to add a new variable for open / closed. And then we're going to right click out here and make a new state machine. Add new state machine. And before I forget, because I've done this many times, I'm going to plug that straight in, because I'll leave my state machine and forget to plug it in. So when our door starts, we need a node that it just starts on and then can branch from, because we can't branch two different places from our entry point. So we're going to add a new state, initial. And my initial state, I am going to play idle animation. So that's just my door standing still. Then off initial, I want a new state, open. And I want another state, add state, closed. Okay. And then I need to be able to connect between these. We're gonna drag this way and drag this way. So, for it to come from initial to open, we need to set a rule here, and we want that to be open, closed, true. For it to go to closed, we want open, closed, not true. And then same thing to go from opened to closed. We want open, closed, not true. And to go from closed to open, we want open to be true. There we go. Now, when it's open, we want to play open, play armature open. There we go. But so that it stays open, I want this to play only once. So I do not want it to loop the animation. And then same thing with closed, play, close. And I do not want that to compile and save. Now we go back to our doors, right click our class door, create a child, and I'm going to call this door underscore anim, running up an animation. We're going to add a skeletal mesh component. That skeletal mesh will be of type sk armature, which is my door, and anim class, it's going to use anim bp underscore door. Then I need to set up my box. Something like that. Okay. And then, same thing as before, we're going to function override update door. I want to pull out my skeletal mesh. I want to get anim instance. I will cast to anim bp door. And then I'm going to set open closed to get open closed from our door. file and save. And then now, if I have fixed my stupid blinking animation problem that I was having yesterday, come over here, got the one client standing behind the door, hit enter. Hey, it opens for everybody. Why isn't it closing? Oh, there we go. Open, close. Open, close. Okay. Now we're gonna go over to our server. Check this out as well. Opening, closing, and all of the players can see that. And just for good measure, come down to our last client. Open and we can close. It's happening everywhere. Okay. So if you're setting up other interactions, basically what you want to do is, so say if we're doing an interface on here, we're doing okay, you start interacting with something, it gives you a reference, just like we're doing with our overlap box, giving us a reference to that actor. And then on your player, when you hit your activation, interaction, use it, whatever button, it will then run an event on the server that then does the interaction. Okay. Hopefully that's making sense for everybody. That is a basic setup of a networked door. Okay, hopefully that helps, Crowy. If you've got any questions, just post them in the Discord. I think there was one other question the other day that we may just hit while I'm here. Okay, Crowy also wanted to know how he would randomly put a widget on a single player. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a new blueprint. We're going to do a blueprint class game mode, GM underscore Crowy request. Okay. Oh, sorry. Butchered that. There we are. Okay. So the game modes by default handle spawning in by taking the player controller, or sorry, the yes, a player controller, spawning a default pawn for them, and then placing one of those in the player start. Okay. What we want to do is override that. So we want a override on post login, so player is logged in. Okay. You would spawn actor from class. You'd want to get actor of class, get actors of class. That class, I'm just going to use the player start. So I'm going to get all the player starts. I'm going to do length. I am then going to do a get. Sorry, I don't want length. I want last index. And then I'm going to do a random int in range from 0 to last index. Goes in there. Then we are going to get location, get after location. Actually, get transform. There we are. I am going to, on this spawn plug that in for. We're getting all our player starts. We're going to get a random one of those, and in that space, we are going to spawn our actor of class character underscore test play underscore networking. And then I want to off our new player, which is a player controller, possess into pawn the new pawn that we've made. Okay. Then we are going to have a variable here of players. File save. We're going to make that a player controller object reference. No, we're going to make that a character test player networking reference. We're going to make that an array. Get players, and then we're going to add player. Cool. We then could see, okay, does our players equal max players or whatever? But I'm just going to do a delay. Delay of 5 seconds. Get players, so all the players that are in the game within 5 seconds. Last index. Random int in range. Max is last index, min is first index. Get whatever random index we get. Then on that, we're going to go back to our player. Actually, first we're going to do a new folder. Widgets. I'm going to make a new widget. UMG underscore you are it. And we're just going to have big old text in the middle of the screen. Where is my... You are it. Where is my justification? There we go. I want it centered. There we go. Something like that. Then on our players, go to test player. Going to do a custom event. And we want to select it. And our select it will do a replicated run on owning client. Gonna make this reliable. Going to get controller. Going to create widget. Owning player. We need to cast to player controller. The widget class is URIt. And we want to add to viewport. Compile, save. So now if we go back to our game mode, on this player, we can run select it. And the game mode only runs on the server, so this is going to happen from the server and then run on the owned pawn. Or on the client side. So we should only see it in one place, because if it happens on the server, we should see it on all players. I'm going to compile, save. I am going to make a couple more spawn points so that it can choose a random one. And then... oh. I also need to, in that game mode, set our player default pawn to our networking pawn. File, save. Actually, I guess I don't need to set that because I'm overriding that right here. And then in blueprints right here, I'm going to do world override. Select a game mode, and I want GM Crowy demo. And now when I play, see, everybody's at slightly different locations, and after 5 seconds, the server is it. We're gonna make that text more visible. So we are going to A, make it bigger, and B, make it horrible pink. Go, we're gonna play again. And in 5 seconds, one of our players should. Hey, now it's our client 2, and nobody else sees that. Only client 2 sees that. And if we play again, 2 is gonna be it. And client 1 sees it. So there you go. There are the 2 last networking questions from Crowy the Crow. I hope that has helped out. Should be easy enough to follow along with as per whatever you've got your stuff set up for already. Because it's a fairly simple concept in this one. As always, this will be uploaded to the Patreon first. And Patreon users will get access to the project files. Sorry, words are not my friends right now as I go through my display settings. The other thing is when it's a request like this, I am going to be privately DMing. Well, I guess that of course is private. It's a direct message. The requester on Discord so that they get immediate access, same as the Patreon. So yeah, Crowy and the Patreons will see this, and then everybody else will see it next week. Thank you all for viewing, and yeah, as always, we'll see you next time.